sounding good, and we, you know, correct each other in a nice way, which is cool. And then we go out. We really, you know, first couple nights of tour are usually like rough nights in ways because of that energy, you know, and just getting it going. So that's, I don't know, we practice there too.
But a good point is that there's no amount of practice that can prepare you for playing live, because as Matt says, the energy is so different, you'll react to it so differently that you kind of just have to do it and figure out, like, oh wait, like I can't play this like that. I'm not pulling it.
Once the adrenaline kicks in,
yeah,
it's a totally different experience.
Completely different.
One thing I wanted to say is don't take a good rehearsal space for granted, because we are constantly looking for places to practice, and we have a lot of good friends that let us practice in their place, and when we do, we end up playing better the first couple of shows, but sometimes we can't, and we end up rehearsing the first day of the tour. So if you guys can find a good rehearsal space or a dedicated rehearsal space, it's pretty important. And I think we would be a more proficient band if we had that opportunity. But since we live so far apart, and Maryland isn't very accommodating to bands in general, it's hard to find a good place to practice. So that's something to think about when you're rehearsing with your band.
Something I just want to point out as well is we're not using rehearsals to actually figure out our own parts. We're all going into very well rehearsed. So we're not wasting time in rehearsal. I think that's a really important way of making the most out of what rehearsal time we do get. We've also played together for several years at this point, so we kind of know what it feels like. And I mean, I live quite a lot further away from these guys than they do from each other. So there've been a number of tours when I've kind of flown in on the first day, or even recently halfway through it, or visa problems and all that. And you know, it's my first time performing, so that someone might be on stage. I mean, it's bass, so
Well, the one skill that enabled us to do this is all of us are able to sort of learn parts on our own, not transcribe, but sort of just learn things by ear. Every single one of us, so that's a big part of our sort of routine at home. That's why we can get together and sort of pick up and just start running, you know, through the songs, is because we already know our parts, you know. It would be a lot more, I guess, laborious had we had to sit there and like learn our parts.
You guys need to talk about
Oh. Okay. Learn your parts before you start practicing is what I was saying. Yeah.
Talk loud.
One other thing I wanted to mention is that when we don't always learn the parts by ear. So there's a lot of layering that goes on. We have 3 guitar players. It's very difficult to discern what each individual is playing. So me, Mark, Misha, and sometimes Nolly when he's in town, we all get together and we start to go through our recording projects and dissect each layer and see who would be best suited to play the layers. So that's another way that we rehearse. It's not playing as a full band, but we're figuring out what parts are going to be played live, because there are a lot of parts that do get sacrificed to play this stuff live because we layer a lot. So once we figure that out, that's also part of the rehearsal process.
Sorry, this is very guitar player specific. Carbon 6-string or JPX?
I just said, sorry. So he asked Carbon 6-string or JPX?
Yeah.
Is that a what do I prefer type of question?
Yeah, because I noticed that you have a roasted neck on there.
Yeah. Okay, he's asking about my the neck on my 6-string. Yeah, it's a roasted maple neck. It cooks the humidity out of the neck, so it's a little bit more stable when we tour, and that's really invaluable. Because sometimes you pick up a guitar after a flight or something like that, and you're like, oh my god, is this the same guitar? Because the wood warps basically. But yeah, it's roasted to cook out the humidity, so that stabilizes the neck quite a bit. But yeah.
How many of you guys are guitar players?
Yeah, guitar players. Oh yeah.
Okay. That's a real big question.
Yeah.
Cool.
Drummers?
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, we got a lot of bases.
Singers.
Cool.
Right.
What about keyboard players? Can they play the keyboard? There's my dude.
I saw a hand. No, that's hand.
Did you have another part of that question there?
Yeah, one of the things. When is the type of guitar available in production?
He asked when my Ibanez signature is going to be available. The 6-string version will be available in July. You can actually pre-order it at any Ibanez dealer. They have a UBC for it. So.
About the 7.
You have to ask Ibanez because they haven't perfect one yet. But I would really like to, and that's probably the most asked question that I get.
Oh yeah.